So most presentations fail not because the content is bad, but quite frankly, it's because the presenter was not able to grab the audience's attention within the first 30 seconds. You see, you literally have 27 seconds to be able to make a first impression and grab your audience's attention. And if you can't grab their attention right away, then unfortunately, they're gone for the rest of the presentation. My name is Andy Henriquez. I'm a business storytelling coach. I've had the privilege of speaking for companies like Bacardi, Office Depot, Accenture, Pratt & Whitney, and even Google. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 favorite ways to start a presentation. Let's jump in with one of my number one favorite ways to kick off a presentation is by simply sharing a quote. You see, sharing a powerful quote has a way of setting the stage. It has a way of pre-framing your presentation and immediately grabbing everybody's attention. You know, there was a point in my career where I used to deliver these motivational talks, and one of my core messages was about showing up for your life. And so when I would get on stage, instead of getting up there and saying, "Hi, my name is Andy Henriquez. I am so happy to be here," which nobody cares about, I would get right into a powerful quote. I'd go on stage and I'd say something like, "You can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up." You see, George Bell said that you can pretend to care, ladies and gentlemen. You can pretend to care about your goals. You can pretend to care about your dreams. You can pretend to care about taking your life to an entirely different level, but you cannot pretend to show up. And so that was a pre-frame because my entire presentation is all about showing up for your life. Now, as you can tell, that is a much different opening than me getting on stage and reintroducing myself and telling them why I'm happy to be here. That is a golden rookie move, and you don't want to do that. Now, you want to make sure you listen into all 5 of these openings because number 3 in particular is one of my favorite, but I really love number 5. You want to make sure you're with me the entire time. Now, you want to, number 1, start off with a powerful quote. This is magical, and you want to think of what is a quote that's going to add value. It is going to add context. It's going to allow me to frame the presentation, and I can lean off of that quote and go into the rest of my presentation. And if the quote is really amazing, you may even be able to use the quote again at the end of the presentation as a bookend. Really, really fabulous. Number 2, super important, is you may want to start off with an engaging question. Something that you can ask right away that immediately allows your audience to be able to engage with you. So here's the beautiful thing. I remember for years, studying under the legendary, masterful Les Brown. And for 5 years, I would travel around and I'd watch him speak in front of these different audiences. And if you don't know who Les Brown is, this guy is one of the top 5 speakers in the world. Not only that, but he's a Hall of Fame speaker with the National Speaker Association. And one of the things that I noticed studying the great is every single one of his presentations, he would start off with a powerful question. He'd walk right onto the stage, look at the audience and say, "How many of you have goals and dreams? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have something that you want to do with your life? Raise your hands, please." Now, here's what the key was. When he asked that question, he was asking that question because he wanted to be able to get a response from the audience and immediately engage with them. But here's one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they ask a question. They ask a question that only applies to a segment of the audience. So I'll give you an example. How many of you are dog people? Raise your hand if you're a dog person. And then they go right into their dog story. Well, you know what the problem is with that? The cat people are like, "You didn't say anything to us." And you know what else is wrong with that? The people who don't like dogs and don't like cats are like, "Well, I guess she is not talking to me or he's not talking to me." So they're asking a question that immediately divides the audience. Now, that's okay if that's what you're intending to do, but most people are not intending to do that. They're asking a question, and what they really want is 100% audience participation, and unfortunately, they're not getting it because of the question that they chose. So if you are gonna open up your presentation with a question, it's very, very important that you ask an engaging question and a question that is gonna engage the entire audience, right? So number 3, one of my favorite ways, and by the way, can I just say, this is my absolute favorite. I want you to take a wild guess. My favorite way to start a presentation is with a story. And the reason why I love it is it doesn't even give the audience an opportunity to think. It doesn't give them an opportunity to process. It doesn't give them an opportunity to say whether or not they like your voice, they like your appearance, and you are immediately taking them on a journey. You're taking them on a ride before they can formulate any kind of opinion on you. And so there's a story that I share about my first car. I get on stage and right away I get on stage and I go right into a story. And they don't even get an opportunity to be able to process. So I said, man, I remember when I was getting ready to turn about 16 years old, I had one thing and one thing only on my mind. As a matter of fact, I want you guys to take a wild guess. I was a 16-year-old young man. What do you think the number one thing was on my mind? And I asked the audience, right? And so normally they're raising their hand. They're like, I don't know. Was it girls? Was it getting your first car? And then I joke around. I'm like, well, actually, it wasn't girls. It was getting my first car. So then I could impress the girls. And I go right into the story. So number one, I started off right away with going into the story, and then I stacked it by also asking a question. So here's something I want you to realize. With some of these openings that I'm sharing with you, you can actually do both. So in other words, you can open up with a powerful quote and go straight into a story, or you can open up with a powerful story and immediately ask a question. So one of the things that I absolutely love is opening with a powerful story. And the reason why is because the audience doesn't know where you're going. They're starting to lean in. They're wondering where you're going to lead them. And not only that, but it is a pattern interrupt in their mind, because when you begin to share a dynamic story, whether they want to or not, they're going to start going with you on this storytelling journey. Now, a fourth thing that you may want to do to be able to start your presentation, if this applies to you, would be to open up with a powerful, profound statistic, something that's shocking, something that gives powerful value. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are speaking on domestic violence and you really want to get the audience's attention. You walk out on stage, you're standing there, and you stop and you look over at your clock and you say nothing for about 9 seconds. And so 9 seconds go by, you say nothing. They're wondering, what is he gonna say? What is she gonna say? And you say, every 9 seconds in the United States, there is a woman who suffers from domestic violence. The first 9 seconds of this presentation, there's another woman who had to deal with domestic violence. Boom. Now you get ready to get into this whole conversation about how we can be able to overcome domestic violence and the things to look out for and how we can actually be able to support people. Now, the power in that is it's an actual statistic. Now, the way that we can compound that statistic is, let's say we said every 30 seconds. Well, what if you got on stage, stopped right in front of anybody, just looked at your clock, said nothing for 30 seconds, and you said that was 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. In the past 30 seconds, this just happened. That's how often this takes place. It gives a bit of this shocking component, and it allows your audience to actually be able to feel the time going by. So leveraging a powerful statistic or something that is shocking, it has this shock factor and it has the ability to immediately be able to grab people's attention. Now, one of my fifth, final, and favorite ways to go ahead and start off a presentation is by simply giving a command, right? And so I love to call this the pastor approach. So all across the world on Sundays, there are pastors that are leading churches, and they are oftentimes giving a command to their congregation. They're saying to their congregation, I want you to look at your neighbor and say, you look good today. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm happy that you're here. I want you to go ahead and give your neighbor a high five and say, today is going to be a great day. And so in other words, they're giving a command to the audience. Now, the power in giving a command to the audience is not that you just gave them a command. The key is when you give the command is to make sure that the audience actually responds and takes the action. So here's one of the biggest mistakes that I see so many people do in their presentation. They give a command and they don't require that the audience responds. So in other words, they say, Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want you to do. Give your neighbor a high five and say, today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. And let's say only 5 people did it. And then they just continue on with their presentation. Well, here's what the problem is. They are immediately releasing their power, and at the very beginning of their presentation, showing that they do not have a complete influence over their audience. That's a big no-no. So if we are gonna give a command to the audience, we wanna make sure that everybody is locked in and everybody is actually engaging with the command. Why? Because this allows you, as the person who's on the stage in the front of the room, to demonstrate that you have true command and authority over your audience. And the last thing you want to do is at the opening of your presentation, start losing people, which means that as you continue on with the presentation, it's only going to get worse. Super important. So here's the cool thing. The next time you're getting ready to go ahead and deliver a powerful presentation, I want you to think of these 5 different ways that you can open up your presentation. Number 1, opening up with a powerful quote. Quotes have a way of being able to pre-frame and set up your entire presentation. Number 2, also asking maybe a powerful question, a powerful engaging question that allows you to immediately be able to get your audience to respond. Number 3, my absolute favorite, is kicking off with a story. Stories don't give people an opportunity to think. They immediately grab their attention and they're wondering, where is he gonna take me? Where is she gonna take me with this story? Number 4, and this is powerful, depending on the type of presentation you're delivering, is a powerful, profound stat or a shocking statistic that's going to allow you to get some shock value and get people to be leaning in to what you have coming next. And then number 5, giving a command. But if you are going to give a command, make sure you require them to actually take the action and do it, so you can show that you have the authority over the room, so that they're with you, not just from the beginning of the presentation, but all the way through until the end. Listen, I hope this helps you out, especially when you're getting ready to do your next presentation. If you got value from this video, do me a favor right now, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, because I got a lot more great videos that are coming your way. And if you want to know exactly how to be able to position and leverage stories inside of your presentation, be sure to check out this next video that you see up here. It's going to be a great way to help you to learn how to incorporate storytelling into your next presentation so you can be more powerful and more dynamic. I'll see you in the next video.